Yeah, Daniel, can you hear me?
Mr. Lezu, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. I only heard my name.
Karibu.
And the floor is yours.
Okay. Good morning and good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to be a speaker on today's Intersect Regional Hub launch in Kenya. Let me take this opportunity to welcome you all. It's a great honor to be with you today virtually. As you all know, my name is Daniel, and I am deeply passionate about the transformative potential of blockchain technology, especially how it can drive meaningful change across the African continent. And as a Cardano ambassador and advocate for decentralization, I've had the privilege of managing programs at the Catalyst African Town Hall, where we focus on fostering innovation and collaboration throughout Africa. And let me also give you a little bit brief intro about myself and my background. My background includes bachelor's degree in information technology, and I also hold a master's degree in cybersecurity, along with certifications from CompTIA. So I believe that this experience and my background have also given me very strong understanding of the powerful role that blockchain can play in shaping the future of Africa. Right, let me quickly share my screen and we'll keep it rolling. Okay, I believe my screen can be seen. I believe my screen can be seen.
Yes.
Okay. So the title of my presentation is Decentralizing the Future, and I'm using blockchain and Cardano's vision for Africa as the case study. I chose this topic because I believe that blockchain will not only impact the future of technology, but I have a strong conviction that it has the potential to transform the economies, industries, and also communities, both here in Kenya and across Africa, and across the globe. So that's my belief about blockchain. So today, we'll dive into the fundamentals of blockchain. We'll also explore the unique features of blockchain, the unique features of Cardano ecosystem, and most importantly, also we'll discuss how we can harness this technology to address Africa's most pressing challenges and also unlock new opportunities for growth and innovation. So while blockchain is often, you will know that it's often associated with financial applications, right? But so far as I am concerned, blockchain goes beyond, far beyond, and most of you can attest to this, that it goes beyond that. It goes beyond the financial applications, right? It is about building trust in systems and also empowering individuals to control their own data and transactions, and decentralizing power structures, right? So the truth of the matter is that I'm very excited to take this journey with you and for me to discuss this blockchain and how it can benefit Africa. I know most of you are aware of what blockchain is. Some of you too, this is new to you and you want to know more about blockchain. So you keep asking yourself, or your friends keep asking you, or even when you told them that you are attending a blockchain related program today, they ask you, what is blockchain? For me to put it in the very simple way, right? Blockchain is a decentralized digital ledger that records transactions across multiple computers, right? Not only one computer, but multiple computers, in a way that ensures the data is secured, one, and two, it is transparent, and three, the data is immutable. which is unchangeable. So unlike our traditional databases that we have, right, where we have a central authority controls the information, blockchain distributes the data across a network of participants, which we call nodes, right? And it makes it very hard for this node to be manipulated or to be altered. Also, let me also let you know that in blockchain, there's something we call blocks, right? And then each block contains cryptographic hash. Each of these blocks contains cryptographic hash of the previous block, and also it contains a timestamp and transaction data. So I know you'll be asking me that, what's Daniel saying? Why should a blockchain contain all these security features like the timestamp, like the transaction data, the cryptography, and the hash of the previous block? So it's very simple, right? The truth of the matter is that let's imagine let's say a notebook, right? Let's imagine a notebook where people record transactions. So let's say you're an accountant in your office or maybe even your own shop, right? You might have a salesperson where they record transactions, right? And then this notebook is like a ledger that keeps track of who paid whom and how much. So that's where you keep your records in. And then you write any transaction that happen in the shop, right? So now let's think about this ledger as a digital. Okay, so where instead of one person keeping it, instead of one, only your accountant or your chief financial officer keeping the record, and this time around, everyone has a copy, right? So every time someone makes a transaction, it is written down in everyone's ledger at the same time. So why this? Because with blockchain, there's no trust issue, right? So since everyone has a copy of it, it's really hard for anyone to cheat because we can see everything on the blockchain. It's very transparent, right? We can see what is written on in the ledger, and so this builds trust because the records can't be easily changed or faked, right? You remember that before when I was giving the definition of blockchain, I told you that blockchain is very secured, it's transparent, and it is immutable, right? So this brings us to the question that we ask ourselves, right? The first rhetorical question that we ask ourselves, that why do we need all these security features in blockchain? So the answer is just very simple, right? If you check the right side of the screen, you can see that someone is taking transaction, right? Writing transactions down. This type of transaction is not cannot be trusted because the person writing it can omit something, can make a mistake, or even if there's a natural disaster right now, or let's say fire outbreak, this paper or these records that the person is writing on can just be banned, right? So blockchain is built to ensure transparency and trust. And these security features are what make it possible for us to rely on the integrity of the system, unlike the traditional or the conventional way that we know that people write on paper or take records or store records on a centralized database. So if you all know that transactions are secured and records are accurate and everything is open for verification, all of us will be happy, and then there's going to be trust among us when we are dealing with each other. So as a Cardano ambassador, right, I can't talk about blockchain without introducing you to Cardano, right? Some of you, your friends might be asking what is Cardano or what makes Cardano very unique, right? Whenever you want to tell them about blockchain or tell them about Cardano, or even when you told them that you are coming to a Cardano program, they might be asking you. So let's quickly discuss what Cardano is, right? So this is a third generation blockchain platform, right? Designed to provide a more secured, scalable, and sustainable infrastructure for the development and execution of decentralized application. That's the dApps, right? So what sets Cardano apart from the other blockchain platform is that it has a unique scientific approach, right? Cardano have a very unique scientific approach, and then also there's a commitment to sustainability, which is the second one, and it has advanced the proof of stake consensus mechanism known as the Ouroboros, right? And also, when we come to the scientific philosophy, which makes Cardano more unique, you get to know that Cardano is built on the foundation of rigorous academic research and peer-reviewed scientific papers, right? So it is the first blockchain to be developed through this process. It is the first blockchain to be developed through this process. So this ensuring that every component of the platform, of the Cardano platform, has thoroughly tested and validated one by experts. Okay, it has been thoroughly validated by experts because of the scientific approach. And also this scientific philosophy set Cardano's apart from other blockchains that may rely on experimental or untested technologies, like their predecessors or the first and second generation of blockchain, which is Bitcoin and Ethereum. So the next time somebody asks you why Cardano, these are some of the things that you can tell them. Also, we can talk about the proof of stake mechanism, right, which is the Ouroboros. So you also notice that at the core of Cardano's blockchain, we have what we call the proof of stake consensus mechanism. And unlike the proof of work that blockchain uses, right, which require miners to solve complex puzzles or to validate transactions, when it comes to the proof of stake usually select, how do you call it, validators, right, which we know as the stake pool operators. And these stake pool operators, based on the amount of ADA that they hold and are willing to stake to the on the blockchain. Another major factor that we can also consider when we are talking about the uniqueness of Cardano is the energy efficiency, right? Because we use the proof of stake system, this makes it very far more energy efficient than the traditional blockchains, like the Bitcoin that I mentioned earlier on and the Ethereum, right? Which usually they are on the proof of work base. And for me to also elaborate further, we notice that this focus on the energy efficiency is very crucial in today's world, right? Where let's say the environmental impact and sustainability are increasingly very important for us, especially here in Africa, that we don't have much power, electricity to power such programs. So this proof of stake is very crucial for us, and it also has very good impact on the environment. So we can say that Cardano is environmentally friendly. Another thing that we can also focus on is the scalability and the sustainability of the blockchain, right? Of the blockchain. So you can also tell your friends, your colleagues, and everyone, everywhere you find yourself, that Cardano aims to solve the scalability issue that, how do you call it, that the first generation blockchain, the first and second generation blockchain were not able to solve. So the scalability is very key in ensuring that the platform can handle a high volume of transactions as the network grows. So these are the unique features that we have to always talk about, that we are also proud of, right? Let's also get little brief background of Cardano, right? The founder is Charles Hoskinson. Most of you might have heard of him already. And also the platform, right? The platform was launched in 2017, right? And then Cardano was designed from the ground up to address the limitation of earlier blockchain platforms, like I said earlier on. So Cardano is actually addressing some of the pressing issues that Bitcoin and Ethereum are not able to solve. We are put all together, and then Cardano is solving it. You also have to know that the platform is named after an Italian mathematician called Girolamo Cardano. So that's where we got the name Cardano from. And then where the cryptocurrency itself is named after the English mathematician Ada Lovelace, right? So you know that the ADA subunit is Lovelace, and then one ADA is equivalent to 1 million Lovelaces. So today we have learned something new about Cardano. Also, don't forget that Charles is also a mathematician. what makes Cardano very unique and very special is that we know the entities, right? Cardano is formed by three entities. We have the input-output Wukong, we have the Cardano Foundation, we have the IntersectMBO. Let me just briefly give you a little bit background about each of these entities that makes that from the Cardano or that manages the affairs of Cardano. But you get to know that you're not left out. You are not left out. You also play a very major part, although there's a three entities. But before I finish my presentation, you get to know that you also have a role to play. So the input output Ukon, right, is an engineering company which is responsible for development of Cardano. And then we all know that it was funded by Charles Hoskinson, like I said earlier on. And then the input-output Ukon focuses on building the platform through a scientific research-driven approach and also ensuring that security, scalability, and innovation is in place. So that's what the input-output Ukon does. And also the Cardano Foundation is also, how do you call it? It's a non-profit organization that oversees the promotion, also sees the adoption and the legal standing of the Cardano blockchain. And also the Cardano Foundation works to build partnerships and educate the public and also ensure the platform's long-term success is going on. So that's what the Cardano Foundation does. And then also we have another entity called the IntersectMBO. Some of you might have heard of the IntersectMBO. So this is the how do you call it? Is the commercial arm? Let's say the commercial arm of Cardano, right? It also focuses on driving adoption by fostering partnerships and also providing blockchain solutions to businesses, right? So the IntersectMBO also support developers and enterprises in leveraging the power of Cardano for real-world application. So together, these entities form a collaborative ecosystem driving Cardano's vision of centralization and sustainable blockchain technology. Like I said earlier on, you are not left out, right? You are not left out. Beyond the three entities of Cardano, there's also you, right? So where do you come in? So through the IntersectMBO, you have the opportunity to make your voice heard and have your decision shape the future. And I'm not going to go deep into that because my fellow presenters will dive deeper into how the IntersectMBO can empower individual or can empower you to also participate in the decision making. Okay, but before I move to my next topic, let me briefly highlight how decentralization governance has already made an impact within the African context, right? I always want to, whenever I'm doing presentation, I always want to speak from the African perspective so that we understand how this decentralization have taken effect with us already, right? So it's not something new, but it's something that we are adapting. So let me share this with you, the tale of the Wise Village Council, right? The tale of the Wise Village Council. And please pay attention and listen to this story and know the importance of decentralized governance and decentralized decision making. So once upon a time, right, in the small village in West Africa, there was a great chief, right, who ruled over the land. And then the chief was very wise, but he made all the decisions alone. Okay, and then over time, the villagers began to feel that their needs were being ignored, right? So the chief, though respected, was removed far from their daily struggles, and the decisions he made didn't always benefit everyone, right? The decisions that the chief make doesn't benefit everyone. So one day there was a drought in the village, right? There's a drought in the village, and then the people were very desperate for water. The people really need water, so the chief decided to build a single large well in the center of the village, right? He alone decided to build a very large well for the villagers. But the villagers who live very far away from the center or the outskirts, they couldn't easily access, they can't access the water, right? So these villagers complain, but the chief stuck to his decision because there's nothing he can do. because for him, the village needs water and he has provided water in the center of the village. So whether you are far, closer, he doesn't care. So this is very frustrating, right? So the villagers came together. Remember, the villagers came together and proposed a new way of making decisions, right? So instead of the chief deciding for everyone, they would form a council, right, with representatives from each of the village, each part of the village. So they form a council from each, everybody representing each clan, okay, in the village. So in this matter, you notice that every villager will have a voice, right? And then they would vote on important matters together. And also, so the chief seeing the wisdom in this plan, agreed to step aside, right? So you can know that there's a power in when the people come together to take a decision, there's power, because when they gather, the chief saw the wisdom in their plan and agreed to step aside and let the village council decide on the next steps, right? So with their new system in place, what they did is that the county voted to dig several small well, okay, throughout the village. They decided to build, instead of one big one that the village, the chief did in the center of the village. This time around, the council came together and they decided that they are going to dig a very small one throughout the entire village, ensuring that everyone had easy access to water, right? So the community thrived, and then and from that day on, the villagers felt very empowered and united, right? And then they learned that by listening to everyone's voice, right, they could make better decisions for the good of all. So what is the moral lesson in the story that I just told you? So what I wanted you to know is that just as the village thrived through collective decision making, right, decentralized governance allows everyone to have a say, ensuring that decisions benefit the whole community, not just a selected few. And I also believe that this story can be used to symbolize the transition from centralized governance to a decentralized system where everyone's voice matters, much like how IntersectMBO is come to empower you that you're in the room right now listening to me to decide the future of Cardano and the decisions that we are supposed to take to make the blockchain better, right? So aside that and how your voice can be heard, I want us to also look at how blockchain can transform Africa, right? You notice that while I was explaining what blockchain is, I mentioned three key features, okay, and one of them is security. Okay, in one way or the other, we have all heard of, let's say, government officials who can't account of money spent on infrastructure. They can't account for transactions. Transactions cannot be traced, and most at times, right, evidence has been erased from the government system. So you notice that blockchain can support anti-corruption effort by reducing the need of intermediaries in government systems where corruption often take place. Let me quickly give you a very short story that happened somewhere in East Africa, right? A government project is announced to, let's say, build a road in the rural areas. And also, millions of dollars are allocated for the project. Okay, but soon after, rumors spread that a large portion of the fund has gone missing, right? The money that is supposed to use to develop the country has gone missing. So when questioned, government officials claimed that the money was lost due to cyber attack on their system, right? And then they can't recover the stolen funds. With no way to prove otherwise, the project couldn't continue, and the community is left without the promised infrastructure that the government told them. And this is where blockchain could make a difference. So let's say, for example, if the project funds were stored and transferred on a secured blockchain platform, like the likelihood of a cyber attack will be how do you call it, dramatically reduced, right? You all agree with me, because blockchain uses cryptographic algorithms, like I told you earlier on, that makes it nearly impossible for hackers to alter or to steal funds, right? You also notice that on the blockchain, every transaction will be encrypted and secured by the decentralized network. So even if a hacker, right, if an hacker try to attack, they would need control over the majority of the system. right? And this is incredibly difficult fit in the blockchain-based environment for an hacker to hold the majority shares to be able to hack. And even if you have the majority share of the blockchain, I'm not sure you'll be willing to hack the system, because if you hack, you have hacked yourself, because you are also a majority shareholder, right? So for your information, with blockchain, right, the risk of lost funds due to fraudulent claims of cyber attacks will be eliminated, right? And also ensuring that allocated resources reach the intended destination. We all know this is issue that we all have in Africa when it comes to corruption, right? Also, you notice that I spoke about transparency of the blockchain, right? Blockchain facilitate decentralized decision making through community-driven governance model. Okay, let me also give you another case scenario, right? This one happened in the southern part of Africa, because I'm focusing on Africa so that we know how blockchain can transform Africa and some of the pressing issues that we are facing, we are facing in Africa. And so the story is another government, because it's a government related issue. So another government also announces a new housing project, right? A housing project to provide affordable homes, right, for the low income families. So the government agreed to provide housing for the low income families. So, and another millions of dollars are allocated, okay? But as the month passed, citizens hear nothing about the progress of the project, right? You have promised us that you're coming to build houses for the low income families, but years have gone by and we have not anything about the project. So questions begin to arise, right? Where did the money go? How is it being spent? In many cases like this, you find out that government officials may not provide clear answers, right? Do not provide you with any clear answers, and the citizens are also left in the dark. So you don't know what is going on, right? So now let's imagine that this project being managed through a blockchain-based platform, right? So every transactions, let's say from the release of funds to the procurement of building materials, all of this is recorded on a transparent ledger, right? It's really recorded on a transparent ledger. You notice that this ledger of the blockchain, okay, because blockchain is accessible for the public. Everybody can view, verify, and check what is going on. So meaning that from journalists to local citizens, right, can track the flow of money in real time. In real time, we can track it. Everybody can track it because the money will be transferred and everything was done on a blockchain. So if there's a delay or mismanagement, it's immediately visible to everyone. Everyone's going to see. So leaving little room for corruption or hidden deals, right? So these are some of the pressing issues that blockchain can be used to transform Africa. It's very important that we pay attention to these things. Blockchain actually creates a level of transparency that can restore public trust and ensure that public funds are used properly. And also in this way, we notice that every citizen become a watchdog, right? You not be a spectator sitting down watching your government, your parliamentarians, your representatives to do whatever they want to do, right? But you become a watchdog, ensuring that development projects truly benefit those that they are meant to be served. Another thing too that we also look at the features of the blockchain that we looked at. I think there's somebody in the room. Okay, I've admitted. Okay, so another thing that I want us to also look at is that the immutable public ledger, right? We notice that blockchain is very secure, it's transparent. Now let's talk about the immutable. Immutable means it cannot be changed, it cannot be erased, it cannot be deleted, it can be altered, right? And I'll also explain this using another story that happened in Africa, right? But before that, you notice that blockchain creates permanent tamper-proof record of every transaction, right? So once data is recorded, it cannot be altered or changed, like I said earlier on. So somewhere in Northern Africa, right? Northern Africa again, like I said onwards, my focus in how blockchain can transform Africa. And so I'm using case studies all over Africa to address these pressing challenges. In Northern Africa, there's a major infrastructure project, right? A new highway was supposed to be completed 2 years ago. 2 years ago, there's supposed to be a project that's supposed to be completed. But however, when asked to show the records of how the funds were used, again, government officials claim that documents have been lost. This is something that we all know. Whenever there's a corruption or there's a mismanagement, we can't find the document to even track what is going on, right? So how do you call it? No one can explain where the money went because the documents have lost, right? So the people suspect corruption, definitely. But without evidence, there's little that we can do, right? Because the documents have been lost. We don't even have any evidence. So let's assume that if the entire project had been managed on a blockchain platform, right, every transaction will be recorded immutably, right? I hope you all agree with me. And then once a transaction is added to the blockchain, it cannot be altered or deleted ever. It cannot. So this is the unique feature of the blockchain. So this means that even years down the line, right? Years down the line, every dollar spent, every contract signed, and every material purchase will still be visible on the blockchain. This is the unique aspect of the blockchain that we should all adapt. Okay, and then no one could go back and change the records, unlike the traditional way of keeping record or keeping the record in the centralized database, whereby like you can add 1 0 to each money or take 1 0 from it and then make profit and take, or maybe erase your dubious means, right? But on the blockchain, you can't do that, right? The public could hold officials accountable, knowing that the truth is permanent recorded on the blockchain and it cannot be erased. So with blockchain's immutability, accountability becomes a matter of fact, not a fiction. Accountability becomes a matter of fact and not a fiction. And this is how blockchain can actually help us shape the future of Africa. As we progress with our presentation today, there's another aspect of the Cardano that we call the project catalyst, right? And you have to get to know about it because if you have identified challenges in your community and you want to solve some of these challenges or some of these pressing issues, you might need funding to support this project. So let me quickly give you high level overview of what the project catalyst is. So this is a decentralized innovation fund within the Cardano ecosystem, right? And the Project Catalyst, it was designed to empower the community by providing funding and support, right, to promising ideas, right, promising ideas and projects that aim to solve real-world problems. So you can identify a problem in your locality, in your city, or your country and bring it to Project Catalyst and get funded. So for your information, this is one of the largest decentralized funds in the blockchain space, one of the largest. And this is driven by democracy process where like everyone can submit their proposals and then the ADA holders. Remember I told you that ADA is the cryptocurrency, right, of Cardano. So the ADA holders can vote on which project receive funding, right? So in this case, many African communities, I beg your pardon, many African communities, we know that face challenges, right, that require local and community-specific solutions, right? I know that in Kenya right now, there are a lot of issues that we want to solve right now. And some of you too in the room to have a lot of brilliant ideas that you want to implement, but which often we struggle to get funding, which is the truth. We have ideas, we have ways to implement them, but we struggle to get funding. So one thing that you need to know is that Project Catalyst offer a decentralized platform for everyone, and African innovators like us in the room can access the financial resources, right, needed to address the issues such as let's say financial inclusion, infrastructure, health or education, right? Any of these sectors that you think you have a solution to implement, you can. So each of you in the room can submit proposals for innovative ideas that leverage blockchain technology, right? And this could also or maybe supply chain transparency app, or maybe data identity solutions, tailored specifically to the challenge that you are facing. You know the issues that you are going through in Kenya or across Africa. Think about it and then find a way to address these challenges. I hope you are all with me in the room. So another thing that I want you to know is that I've said a lot of things, right? I've said a lot of things from the blockchain history of blockchain, Cardano, and then how blockchain can shape Africa. So as I am about to hand over my presentation, I want to challenge each of you, specifically the youth in the room. I want to challenge you, right? So imagine a future where every African has a direct control over their financial destiny, right? Imagine a future where every African, right? Every African has a direct control over their financial destiny, where trust is no longer a question, right? But a certainty. Trust is no longer a question, but a certainty, right? And where decisions about our continent's future are made by us and for us. So now, the real question that I want to ask is, are you ready to step up? Are you ready to step up? And if yes, I'm challenging you, reflect on this. How will you harness the power of blockchain and Cardano to break the chains of existing paradigm in Africa and drive the change that Africa so urgently needs? Right? I'm challenging you to think about this thing, that how are you going to harness the power of blockchain? Are you going to use blockchain and Cardano to break the chains of the existing paradigms from the government officials, mismanagement of our economy, transactions, money cannot be traced, right? How are we going to use this Cardano blockchain together with the Project Catalyst, right, to break the chain of this existing paradigm and drive the change that Africa so urgently needs? I'm leaving you to reflect on this and then think about it and then find a solution, take action for yourself. Thank you very much. I believe that the future, the unique features of blockchain make it more beneficial to Africa. In that reason, if you want to connect more with me, my name is Daniel David Lezu. You can find me on LinkedIn or follow me on Twitter, DD Lezu, at DD Lezu, and then get in touch with me if you have any idea or there's something that you don't understand very well, or there's a collaborative that or innovative ideas that you want to share with me. Feel free to reach out to me. Thank you very much and enjoy the rest of the program. Bye-bye.
All right, thank you so much, Daniel, for this wonderful session. You have taken us through to understand the overview of blockchain, Cardano, and also getting to know more about what Cardano blockchain presents and some opportunities that are available for us, and also talking more, making much emphasis on decentralization and how it's brought into the African context through your various illustrations. I think this is commendable and much more understandable. Thanks so much. We appreciate, and I would like to, participants, I hope you can hear me. Please pay attention to these various presentations that's ongoing, and also take note of questions you may have to ask, so that during the Q&A session, you can ask the questions for more clarification. And we'll also have the opportunity to ask you questions, and those who will be able to answer, there will be incentives for you in the post-launch. So we wouldn't disclose any of the incentives here, but once you are able to respond to the questions during the post-launch event, we will declare what your incentives will be. So I entreat that you pay attention for the other sessions that's coming, and at the end of the day, you will definitely take something profitable or impactful home. All right, so I'll hand over to Herin to continue with the session.
Oh, okay, so thank you so much, Daniel, for that. I hope we'll be very much told to stay almost next to the laptop so that I can be heard, and so I want to be able to move around. Yeah, so I hope you are keen, and at least you have an idea, a rough idea of what is going on. So just very keen, if you can write something, whichever way possible, yeah, so that the time of Q&A, Jeremiah has said, you are going to be able to speak something, right? Yeah, so I know in the group, seeing a lot of intersect there. Outside there is intersect, you are t-shirt, it's intersect. So I'd really want to take this moment to welcome our next speaker, who is with us. Yeah, so just get ready.